You're not living the life you want to live. That's a hard sentence to listen, harder to admit, but maybe somewhere, buried beneath the curated photos, quiet comparisons, and mental lists of someday, you've whispered it to yourself already. Why? Why aren't you living the life you imagined when you were younger? Or even the one you imagine when you space out at stoplights or in long meetings? You feel it, that quiet discontent, the subtle hum of unrealized dreams. The question is always there: how did I get here? And why do I stay here? Let's go back in time, just 1 century. Franz Kafka was a man who spent most of his life doing what he didn't want to do. He worked for an insurance company, long hours, endless bureaucracy. His real love? Writing. But he did it in the margins, before work, after dinner, in stolen hours when no one was watching. He published almost nothing. He died believing he had failed, believing his voice didn't matter. And yet today, Kafka is seen as one of the most influential writers of the last century. His words reshaped literature. His name itself became an adjective. But during his lifetime, Kafka didn't live the life he wanted to live. Not even close. So what happened? Maybe the real question is, what happens to all of us? There are stories, and then there are the stories we tell ourselves. You were probably told early on to dream big, but not too big. Be yourself, but also be acceptable. Take risks, but stay safe. It's a maddening contradiction. So what did you do? You compromised. You got the job that made sense. You made the decision that didn't rock the boat. You picked the smart option, the one your family, friends, teachers, or culture said was wise. And then, slowly, day by day, you started living a life that wasn't yours. It might look fine on paper, maybe even good. Respectable job, decent paycheck, stable home, friends who think you're doing okay. But in your quietest moments, it doesn't feel like you're you. And that's because you're not. Not really. You've been living someone else's life. Or at least someone else's idea of what a life should be. Think about it. Out of all the possibilities in the universe, somehow you were born. Your body is made of things like dust, atoms, and cells that came together by chance. You didn't choose to exist. It just happened, and yet here you are, with thoughts, emotions, memories, and dreams. You can see, feel, laugh, love, fail, and heal. You get to live a full human experience, even though life itself is short and uncertain. And because life is so temporary, the only real mistake you can make is wasting it pretending to be someone you're not. You don't get to keep this life forever. One day, it ends. So why spend the little time you do have trying to live up to other people's expectations? Why live someone else's version of a life instead of your own? But let's not pretend it's easy. Let's not say, just quit your job, or follow your passion like it's a toggle switch you flip on a random Tuesday. The reason you're not living the life you want to live isn't laziness or incompetence. It's fear. It's the fear of being wrong, the fear of starting over, the fear of wanting something and not getting it, and what that would say about you. We pretend we're afraid of failure. But deep down, maybe we're even more afraid of what success would demand of us. Who we'd have to become, what we'd have to let go of, the comforts, the safety nets, the predictability of a life we've grown used to, even if it's not the life we want. Kafka didn't burn out because he didn't care. He burned out because he cared and still felt like the world didn't care back. So do you. It's not always about quitting your job or abandoning your life to hike in Nepal. Sometimes it's about telling the truth for the first time, about admitting that the life you're living doesn't fit you anymore, that maybe it never did. It's about asking a terrifying question. What if the life I'm chasing isn't mine? Because maybe the reason you're not living the life you want is that you've never let yourself want your life. You've wanted approval, achievement, acceptance. But your life, that requires a different kind of courage. Look, most of us are not born into the perfect storm of opportunity, support, and clarity. Most of us are born into systems that steer us in directions long before we ever get to steer for ourselves. And even when we realize that, most of us stay stuck. Because changing your life doesn't start with doing. It starts with unlearning. Unlearning the lie that your worth is tied to productivity, that your job title defines your identity, that safety is more important than meaning, that it's too late, that you're too far behind, that you don't deserve something better. Unlearning that it's selfish to want joy, that it's irresponsible to want to feel alive. Franz Kafka didn't get to see the world recognize him, but he wrote anyway, because some part of him must have known. Knew that truth matters even when no one is looking, that creation is its own form of rebellion, that choosing yourself, even quietly, is sacred. And maybe that's the key. Maybe living the life you want isn't about being seen, it's about being known by yourself. So what now? Now you sit with the truth. Not the fake social media highlight reel, not the polite answer you give at family gatherings, but the real, raw, probably unfinished truth. You're not living the life you want. And that's okay. Because now you see it. And seeing it is the first step toward changing it. No one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to tap you on the shoulder and say, "Now is the time." That has to be you. And maybe, just maybe, you don't have to throw everything away. Maybe you just have to choose one thing, one honest thing, and follow it. Like Kafka followed his pen, even when no one read it. Maybe you follow your voice, even when it trembles. Maybe you take one true step, not because it guarantees anything, but because not taking it guarantees regret. And remember this, the cost of staying stuck is always greater than the risk of becoming who you were meant to be.